Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our TEPSA Presents Member Spotlight series. My name is Todd Nesloni, and I'm the Director of Culture and Strategic Leadership here at the Texas Elementary Principals and Supervisors Association. I'm so thrilled today to be interviewing Jason Morgan. Jason, welcome, and share a little bit about yourself with us.
Man, thanks for having me. I think we did one of these once before. TEPSA is one of my passions. I truly enjoy being a member of TEPSA and really try to promote TEPSA across our region here in Southeast Texas, the Beaumont area. One of my favorite things to do is going to summer conference, which we just talked about earlier. I have to work. I'm on a 215 contract, but a week of those 215s is the summer conference. So we always say that when you go to the summer conference, you go in feeling like a raisin. You come out feeling like a grape. So we're looking forward to getting it, getting there on Wednesday and learning and collaborating with other leaders and just doing the TEPSA thing, drinking the TEPSA Kool-Aid, as I like to call it.
That's right. Well, you have had quite the journey through your educational career, and now you're getting to serve as principal. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Well, I'll be honest with you. This wasn't my career path. I didn't think this was going to be it. I wanted to be a coach and a teacher, and that's what I saw my passion. And truly, it took me a little while to get the idea of being a principal or in the admin through my brain. Because my dad, growing up, my dad was superintendent here in Lumberton, and also a principal. He kind of worked his way up through the ranks here in Lumberton, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be my dad. I know everybody says that, you end up being your dad, but I mean, I'm pretty much my dad right now. So I coached and taught for 17 years before I even jumped into the admin world. And my first 2 years of being an admin, I was actually coaching and being an AP for a small school. So my plate was pretty full. I like to keep my plate full. I'm one of those people that has to be doing something all the time, or I'm just bored. So as soon as I leave work here, I coach my daughter's swim team. I officiate swimming for high school. I'm always doing something, and I think if I'm not running around with my hair on fire, there's something wrong.
I love it. Well, Jason, throughout these conversations, we love to get some advice and learn a few things along the way. And so obviously we know the prevalence of tech, whether it is in our personal or professional lives. So what is a tech tool that you really find value in?
Now, this is something new to me, and I've learned it this year. Have you heard of ChatGPT?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. You want to talk about a time saver? ChatGPT is where it's at.
Really?
If you want to write a lesson plan, type in the TEKS, hit enter, it'll write you a lesson plan. If you want to do the campus improvement plan and you need a catchy little paragraph, type in what you want it to say, type in the high points, and it'll do it. Letters of recommendation, those are time drainers. And it'll write you a letter of recommendation in about 15 seconds.
See, I've heard so much about ChatGPT, and I just haven't taken the time to dive into it, but I'm hearing more and more, so many great values in it.
I think for me, it's the time saver value. When you're having to write a T-test and you know what you want to say, but a T-test evaluation can take me hours.
Yeah.
And this cuts the time down because I know what I want to say. I know how I want to say it. All I got to do is type in the key points, and it'll generate a response for me.
I love it.
Now, I don't do it for all of them because I think it still has to be personal.
Yeah.
But there's some of those menial tasks that you have to come up with these big long paragraphs and these, make them sound edutopia, I like to call it. It'll spit it out for you, and it saves me a ton of time, especially on some of those menial tasks that you don't really have to do.
Yeah, and it's great just to use it and then go in and edit even what it says so you can make it exactly what you need it to be, but don't have to start from ground zero. So great.
It kind of gives you a template, more than anything, it gives you a template to kind of roll with.
Yep. Well, Jason, one of the things too that's a big part of being a campus leader is building up the culture of our campuses. And so what's a culture idea that either you've been a part of or that you've planned or that you've seen that you really like?
And I'll say this, negative people create negative culture. Positive people create positive culture. And if you can't create that positive culture, maybe you need to look in the mirror a little bit.
Right.
You don't have to sell positivity. It sells itself. Mm-hmm. If you like your job and you like what you do, it says a lot to do that. Now, I also, hang on, I just lost power here. Hang on.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm in a new office. We've been building for 3 years, and I moved into my new office on Friday, and it's got motion detector lights, and if you don't move around, it'll cut off on you, which is great, but it's at the same time, it's kind of crazy. For me, and because I'm incorporating a whole new grade level next year, I'm actually taking a grade from another campus, so I'll be 3, 4, 5 next year. This year we were 4, 5. The year before that we were 4, 5, 6. So we're becoming more elementary. Yeah. I always say you can always hire culture. I know that sounds weird a little bit, but when I go to hire people, I look for a fit. I look to see if they're going to fit what we want to be as a campus. If they don't fit our core values, they're not going to, they won't make it past the first, 10 minutes of our interview. Yeah. We're looking for that positive person. We're looking for somebody that's a relationship builder. If you can't do those two things right there, you don't even make it past the culture window. Right. I also believe this. I'm a big we person. I never say people work for me. They work with me. That goes from everybody from the teachers, APs, custodials, cafeteria staff. These people take care of our kids. And if they know that we love them, these kids, they'll come to school. In the age of COVID, I think our attendance rate here on my campus was 97.9 for this year, which is, I'm sure there's somebody better than that. I know somebody's going to comment and say, yeah, we got you beat, Jason. Well, we're proud of that, because we were like 94, but our attendance rate was like 97.9 for this year, and super positive about that because I think our kids want to be here. The other part of that is in that COVID culture or post-COVID culture is getting your teachers to come to work. That's we had the philosophy of if you're sick, stay home, and that's a great philosophy and all, but if it's just a sinus thing, come to work. We need heck, it's hard to have a culture when you have a campus full of subs. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, subs are important, but that content expert needs to be in the classroom. But more than anything, you have to be positive. Mm-hmm. And I don't know any other way you have to have enthusiasm. You have to love kids, and that culture starts at the top and it works its way down. Yeah. And you have to, and truthfully, I say this all the time because I hired somebody that's a little different than me to be my assistant principal. Ms. Bass, if you're watching, I'm talking about you. She's phenomenal. She's very much a one of those people that will do the committees and do all those frou things that I'm not good at. So I hired someone that pretty much the opposite of me to do some of that stuff. I'm an idea person. I'm a positive person. I'm all that, but she's my follow through. You have to have that yin and your yang to have a culture, especially a positive culture. And, she's that person that I had the chance to, she was my first hire as a principal. That was my first position to hire. And I did a pretty dang good job, I think.
Well, I always say too, when we do interviews, I can teach you how to teach. I can't teach you how to love your job or love kids. And so I think that advice is so great when looking at who's going to be there to help build up that culture. Well, Jason, on top of the culture, there's so many different types of leaders out there. People in their first year, people in their 20th, where it still feels like the first year of being in administration. And so what leadership advice would you have for those?
And I always say, love your people. Build those relationships, not just with your staff, but with everybody, the kids, everybody. And I keep going back to that, but it really goes back to core values, Todd. For me, I'm going to have, there's certain core values that I'm not going to cross, integrity and just perseverance and confidence and energy, and we call it Raider pride. Is one of the things that we talk about a lot is Raider pride. And you got to be a team player.
Yeah.
And as a leader, you guys that are aspiring to be leaders or gonna, in your first year as a principal, first year as an AP, I've been there. I can tell you this: have high expectations for yourself. And here we go again.
At least we know it works.
Yeah, it works. Have high expectations for yourself and have high expectations for everybody that's in your building. Love your people. Be a team player. And no job is too big and no job is too small.
Exactly.
I mean, if you got to take out the trash, take out the trash. If you have to pick up trash around the building, pick up trash around the building. Your building is a reflection of you. And if it looks trashy, then it is what it is. And I think more than anything, and I'll say this a lot, is just be positive.
Yeah.
Kids can feel phony.
Right.
One of the people and we've talked about this last time, John Gordon. I'm a big John Gordon fan, who wrote The Energy Bus, Stay Positive. Also read. I know that's it's kind of hard to do these days, but it's not. If you're traveling 20, 30 minutes, read an Audible, put it on your CarPlay, read a leadership book, and 10 trips at 20 minutes, you're done with the book.
Yep. And
there's so many positive things that can be done by reading, and it doesn't cost you much. Your education continues if you continue to read. Yep. I think that's there's leadership books by the dozens, and there's some of them are great. Some of them are what they are. I like the ones that stay positive and talk about culture, positive culture. Yeah. And they kind of, like I was talking about summer conference, it kind of fills you back up. Yeah. By the end of the year, I'm probably reading the Energy Bus again, just to get my energy level up. Because E plus P equals O, which is event plus perspective equals outcome. So every time any event that happens at school, is the perspective equals the outcome, and especially in kids' eyes, because perspective is their reality. And for us as leaders, we have to show that we are not going to be affected by an outcome if we look at it in a negative way.
Right.
So I think staying positive, loving your people, loving your kids, having pride in what you do. And one of the things that I've kind of learned to do over the last few years is build leaders and then let them go. Yeah. So you want to build people on your campus and you want to build those leaders, but don't be scared to let them go. You'll build more. Yeah. And you'll create that culture on your campus of, that everybody has a voice, and, you can't always hire everybody that you build as a leader, but you can send them off somewhere else. Yeah. And then your network grows. So I think building leadership is one of those things, especially if you're becoming a principal. Empower your teachers. Yeah. Teach them to be leaders, and it'll take some of the workload off of you too, because they'll pick up some of it. So
yeah, I love it. Such great advice. Well, Jason, I've really enjoyed this conversation today. I know you're going to be at summer conference next week, so that's exciting as well. So if people want to connect with you on social media, are you anywhere on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I think it's jason.morgan234 is my handle. I'm sure I'll be working the TEPSA booth because, I like to work the TEPSA booth. That's one of my favorite things to do is hold the sign, shake hands.
And we love volunteers.
Yeah, and I'm one of those super volunteers that always likes to do to me, that's more fun than anything is just meeting people, because I'm a network person, relationship person. Yeah. The bigger my network is, the more powerful my leadership skills become. So it's one of those, I hope to see everybody there. If you guys see me at summer conference, say hi. I did run for vice president this year. Didn't win. Look for me next year. Just throwing it out there, Todd.
Love it.
I mean, hey, I ran against Dana Boyd. I mean, come on. That wasn't even fair.
Oh, man. Well, Jason, it was so great talking to you. I look forward to hanging out next week. And I want to thank everybody for joining in all of our member spotlights this semester. And remember, you can check all of them out on your favorite podcast station, on our YouTube channel, or any of our social media networks. They're all there. Hope to catch you again soon.